Hello, this is Joe Pearson, the project planner for this application. This is a request to the Planning Commission to approve a major modification to a special use permit to allow for modifications to an existing 2,450 square foot drive-through fast food restaurant building, and to allow for the operation of a Starbucks coffee shop on a 0.66 acre site. This project was filed by Beverly Metz on behalf of Starbucks. The proposed improvements will consist of a series of site changes to convert the existing Wendy's restaurant drive-thru into a Starbucks drive-thru coffee shop. The changes include a small 50 square foot addition to allow for the relocation of the drive-thru pickup window. The resulting building will be 2,500 square feet. The exterior of the building will be renovated with new colors and materials, which will consist of tan stucco and a bronze metal roof with a weathered copper siding. The site layout will be reconfigured to allow for a larger vehicle queue. The revised drive-thru lane will increase the queuing capacity from 5 vehicles to 16 vehicles. And in addition to the revised site, the project will include a transportation demand management plan. Other changes include revised signage, upgraded landscaping, and new parking lot striping. Lastly, the project includes a request for administrative parking relief to allow for 2 modifications. The first is to allow for a decrease in the number of required parking spaces from 50 spaces to 35 spaces, including 15 spaces which are provided via the drive-thru queue. And the second is to allow for 11 of the parking spaces to be compact parking spaces. The project site is currently developed with the existing Wendy's drive-thru restaurant and associated infrastructure improvements. The project is located within the El Rio West neighborhood. These images generally show the commercial nature of the project area being located at a major intersection directly off of the 101 freeway. As shown in the previous images and this aerial, the project site is bordered by shopping centers to the south and the east, other drive-thru facilities to the west, and residential to the north across the alley. The project is located within the Commercial General Plan Land Use Designation and the General Commercial Plan Development Zone. Both the land use designation and zoning allow for restaurants, including drive-thru facilities, with the approval of a special use permit. The existing drive-thru restaurant and signage were approved in 1980 and were approved through a special use permit. Since that time, the site has generally remained unchanged, with only minor facade and landscape changes taking place. The project parcel is a corner lot which is accessed from 2 existing driveways on River Park Boulevard. The proposed project will not alter the overall building location and site circulation. Circulation will still be provided in a U-shape around the existing building. The driveway closest to the intersection of Vineyard Avenue and River Park Boulevard will be a right turn in only entrance, with the second driveway being a right turn out only exit. To minimize on-site conflicts, the trash enclosure access is being moved from the parking lot to the alley to allow for pickup without impeding on-site circulation. Also, a new site wall is proposed along the north property line, consistent with the Oxnard City Code requirements for a screening wall between commercial uses and the single-family residential where they abut each other. Due to the operational characteristics of the Starbucks drive-thru coffee shops operating in the city of Oxnard and beyond. City staff was concerned about the traffic circulation both on-site and in the public right-of-way. Given the potential increase in drive-thru demand associated with the proposed Starbucks restaurant and inadequate vehicular queuing based on the existing configuration, which has the potential to block the adjacent street system and intersection of Vineyard Avenue and River Park Boulevard. As a result, the drive-thru lane has been redesigned to run along the perimeter of the site, as shown, to allow for a longer queue. The current Oxnard City Code requires a capacity of 8 spaces. However, the current proposal provides 16 spaces in the drive-thru. Through the Development Advisory Committee process, multiple design alternatives were explored in coordination with various city departments, including planning, building and engineering, traffic, fire, and the police department. The currently proposed design was determined to best balance the on-site needs while minimizing the potential for off-site impacts. The proposed design allowed for an increase in queuing capacity from the 5 spaces to the 16 spaces without impacting on-site circulation. This will allow for emergency access at all times, even while the site is at full operation. The longer queue will also minimize the potential for the drive-thru demand exceeding its capacity, which would impact the adjacent streets. However, while the 16 vehicle queue is not anticipated to be exceeded, a traffic demand management plan has been developed by the applicant team and reviewed and accepted by city staff, which identifies both existing and future programs that can be implemented to prevent vehicles in the queue from spilling off-site. The existing site has a total of 41 parking spaces with a stacking credit of 5 spaces for a total of 46 spaces. As a result of the improvements to the drive-thru lane, as previously discussed, on-site parking has been reduced to 20 spaces with a stacking credit of 15 spaces for a total of 35. This image shows the proposed floor plan for the proposed Starbucks coffee shop. The project will result in an overall increase in on-site landscaping, with the landscaping increasing from approximately 23% to 26.4%. The majority of the new landscaping will be installed along Vineyard Avenue, a designated scenic corridor, which requires a landscape buffer of at least 30 feet. The existing parking lot is located within this 30-foot area and is considered to be legal non-conforming in its existing condition. The drive-thru queue will be located within this 30-foot paved area, but paved areas will be removed and additional landscaping is proposed to be installed on both linear sides of the drive-thru queue within the 30-foot area. This new landscaping will bring the site more into compliance with the general plan's 30-foot wide landscape buffer standard. The revised site landscaping will provide parkways and landscape areas throughout the parking lot that will feature low water use native and regionally adapted plants, including grasses, succulents, and trees. Additionally, 8 trees will be added throughout the property, which will assist in meeting the requirement of 1 tree for every 40 feet of property line. As previously discussed, the proposed changes include a small 50 square foot addition to allow for the relocation of the drive-thru pickup window. The resulting building will be 2,500 square feet. And as shown in the images, the proposed restaurant building features a facade with contemporary stucco with new colors and materials, which will consist of tan stucco and a bronze metal roof with weathered copper siding. As part of the original special use permit, a sign program was approved to allow for the existing signage on site. The applicant is proposing to revise the on-site signage. Per the Oxnard City Code, the total aggregate sign area of advertising signs cannot exceed 2 square feet for each linear foot of building, or 1 square foot of sign area for each linear foot of lot frontage, whichever is larger. Using Vineyard, the maximum sign area for the site would be 175 square feet. The aggregate sign area includes all wall signs and both sides of freestanding signs and ground signs, which, per the provided sign program, total approximately 166 square feet, which is in compliance with the Oxnard City Code. Drive-through signage is considered separate from the advertising signage and are part of the overall project approval, subject to review by the Planning Commission. As discussed in the staff report, the project furthers many of the policies identified in the 2030 general plan by providing for the revitalization of existing commercial site, improving upon a property located along a city-designated view corridor, and additionally, the project is a infill project, so we'll be able to take advantage of existing infrastructure, which has been determined to be adequate through the DAC process. As identified in the staff report, the project is consistent with the general commercial plan development zone standards, except as modified by the requested parking modifications. As previously mentioned, the site currently has a total of 41 parking spaces with a stacking credit of 5 spaces for a total of 46 spaces on site. As a result of the improvements to the drive-through lane, on-site parking has been reduced to 20 spaces with a stacking credit of 15 spaces for a total of 35. The Oxnard City Code allows the Planning Commission to grant a administrative relief from provisions of the Oxnard City Code when a requirement is shown to be excessive. Pursuant to the Oxnard City Code, the applicant has provided a parking study prepared by a professional traffic engineer registered with the state, demonstrating that the required parking is excessive and showing that the amount of parking provided is adequate for the proposed use. The project is also requesting to be allowed to provide 11 of the provided parking spaces as compact parking spaces. While the standard size spaces are required to be 9 feet in width by 19 feet in length, compact parking spaces are required to have a minimum dimension of 8 feet in width and 16 feet in length. 10 of the proposed spaces are compact due to the width of the space being 5 inches short of the standard requirement of 9 feet in width. The 11th compact parking space is due to the length of the parking space being approximately 1 foot short of the standard required length of 19 feet. Given that the spaces are only marginally short of the standard space requirements, they will still be able to safely accommodate most vehicles in the same manner as a standard space. In accordance with Section 15301 for existing facilities of the State of California Environmental Quality Act guidelines, projects involving negligible or no expansion of use beyond that existing at the time of the lead agency determination may be found exempt from the requirements of CEQA. The project involves a request to convert an existing drive-through fast food restaurant to another drive-through coffee shop. The small addition will only increase the building size by 50 square feet, or approximately 2%, and will be within the existing developed area. On-site circulation will be approved through realignment of the drive-through lane and the implementation of a transportation demand management plan to prevent vehicles from backing up into adjacent roadways. As a result, this project will not result in any significant impacts related to noise, traffic, or air quality, and no exceptions to the exemptions applied to defeat the exemption. Therefore, staff has determined that there is no substantial evidence that the project will have a significant effect on the environment. The project will be subject to various conditions of approval. Some of the key conditions limit the life of the permit to 36 months, requires additional screening of the drive-through lane to further protect the view corridor, requires automatic volume control for the speaker box, and lastly requires the implementation of the previously discussed transportation demand management plan and allows for future reevaluation by the city as needed. The project site is located within the El Rio West neighborhoods, and on July 19th, the project was presented to the public during the city's community workshop meeting. Notices were mailed out to property owners of the El Rio West, and River Park neighborhoods. Approximately 3,200 meeting notices were mailed out by the applicant, and the project site was posted with the project details and community workshop information. During the meeting, one comment was received by a member of the public regarding the project. Prior to the meeting, 3 comments were received in response to the community workshop notices. The primary concerns expressed were related to traffic and circulation. As discussed above, and through the DAC process and subsequent reviews, city staff from planning, building, engineering, traffic, fire, and police have reviewed both the site design and transportation demand management plan to ensure the project will not impede traffic on the adjacent streets. Also, as conditioned, if it is determined that the transportation demand management plan is not functioning as needed, the city shall have the ability to reevaluate and amend the plan as needed. Noticing of the Planning Commission hearing has been posted on site and mailed to surrounding property owners and emailed to all interested parties. Based on the information provided in this presentation and the associated staff report, staff recommends that the Planning Commission find the project to be categorically exempt from environmental review pursuant to the California Environmental Quality Act guidelines, section 15301 for existing facilities, and approve the resolution for the major modification subject to certain findings and conditions.